guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing what we wish we knew before riding Amtrak.
All right, there's a lot of things that we wished we knew. I remember our very first ride, which was on the Crescent from Atlanta to New Orleans. We had no idea what we were doing.
None.
And looking back, we made a lot of mistakes.
We did.
We're going to go over those with you now so you don't make the same mistakes we did.
And really the first one on the list is the very first mistake that we made. And that was not knowing that we could bring our own food on the train.
Yeah.
Why is this important? Because we were riding coach, like you said, from Atlanta to New Orleans. And we got on the train, and one of the very first announcements that they made was that we could not purchase food from the snack car because the credit card machine or something was not working.
Yeah.
So we got on shortly after what would have been lunchtime, but we hadn't had lunch yet, with plans to enjoy a meal on the train as we rode out of Atlanta. Well, that did not work. And we also didn't have very much in the way of snacks. Not like how we travel now, where we always have protein with us and snacks and all kinds of stuff. We didn't have any of that.
Yep.
Because we didn't know we could bring our own stuff.
No.
So you can bring, food with you. I've actually seen people with coolers that bring stuff with them. I mean, there's people also who have intolerances to different things or food allergies and whatnot. So you can bring your own food onto the train and not have to purchase what's on there.
Yeah, we did rectify that for the second trip, which was from New Orleans. They do have a Subway in New Orleans. We got some sandwiches. Got that on the Sunset Limited.
We got extra sandwiches just in case.
So that is a good thing to know. Next thing is that trains will usually be late. Almost always. Very rarely will they be early. But if you're on any type of long train, anything that's not in the Northeast is a better on-time record than the West.
Right.
If you're going west on a train or going cross country, it's probably going to be at least a few hours late. Even if you think you're on time most of the way, we have gotten to the brink of Chicago like 45 minutes early and taken 2 or 3 hours just to go
the last little bit,
like 10 miles.
It's like we're so close.
And it can be frustrating. So you just have to recognize that you're probably going to be late. Whatever the time it says that you're supposed to get there, add 4 hours to it as a general rule. And then you'll just feel like you're on time and you won't have any problems.
That's right.
Do not book any connections. Don't book other trains. Don't book other
Don't plan to
cruises.
go to work when you get off the train. Don't try to plan your train ride so you go straight to court when you get there. I mean, nothing. Don't plan things right at the end of this journey because you will not get there at the time it says you will get there.
Don't go to your wedding on Amtrak. No, you will miss it.
You better go a couple days early.
So the next thing is that you can check your bags at most stations. All the big stations, like if you're going, Chicago to Seattle, you can check your bags in Chicago. Just like an airplane, they'll show up in Seattle. You don't have to worry about it. This is particularly important if you're on a Viewliner, which is on any train that goes to New York City, because on a Viewliner there are no luggage racks. There is nowhere for you to put your bag. So whatever you have with you has to go in your room if you're in a sleeper car. On a Superliner, not that big a deal. We almost never check bags on a Superliner, which is anything out of Chicago going west, because there are big luggage racks. We just set them down there. Then when you get to your destination, you don't have to wait.
Yep, you grab them and go. You're ready to go.
Yeah, but a Viewliner, we always check our big bags on a Viewliner. There's room for one bag on a Viewliner.
On the overhead storage area.
But that's it. So purchasing tickets ahead of time will get you the best price. that is something we wish we knew because we waited right up until we were going to
did,
go.
literally just like, I think a month beforehand or something. Yeah. So we paid way more than we needed to because we didn't realize. What we were thinking is, in most cases, like sometimes with airlines and definitely with cruising, you know, the closer you are to your departure date, you're going to get a better deal, especially like with cruises. Well, that is not the case with Amtrak. As the train fills up, the price goes up. So as soon as you know you want to go somewhere, go ahead and book your tickets because that is going to be the best price that you can get. The closer you get to your journey, the more expensive it will get.
Yeah, the guest rewards program for Amtrak
Yes.
is amazing, and we are now full-fledged members of it. But when we started out, we were like, we're probably not going to do it enough to do it.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it at
We
first.
missed out on several train trips that we could have had miles for.
And the miles do add up quickly. But there's another benefit to it besides the miles. We also have gotten a lot of points from having the credit card, which you can't get right now, but I think
It's coming soon.
Possibility it might be coming back because I know they're in the process of changing banks. So
But
that
because
could,
we got a notice for ours.
yeah, so that could be coming. You may be able to sign up for that again soon. And when we signed up for that, we got a 50,000 mile bonus, and that was amazing. So I think this last summer we booked 7 Amtrak trips, all in Roomettes, and we got 3 of them for free, just from points we'd accrued.
Just from points, yeah.
So that definitely will pay off. But the second benefit you get is when you get that status, you get a special phone number to call in.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how much time and frustration that will save you.
It's a really big deal to be able to call up and not call the regular number that you're going to wait hours on. You're going to call this number and they have special representatives. You know, you basically get to jump the line and they take care of you fairly quickly. I think the longest I've ever waited was maybe like 15-20 minutes, which was long because most of the time when I call, and it's usually just to make like a small change, like, oh, I want to change my room or whatever, most of the time it's just like 5 minutes, if that we end up waiting. But it's really a great benefit. And then there's also another benefit to that is to having status is you do get coupons. We get companion coupons, so it's like buy one get one, which gives you a pretty good discount for your rate. And then also, you know, you get upgrade coupons as well, which are very helpful if you're traveling, like you said, in the Northeast. You can upgrade, you know, from regular to business or to first class, depending on what train you're on. And then you also, once you get to the upper tiers, have access to the Metropolitan Lounge as well, included with your status. So it's really worth it. I think you get the benefits faster than you would with like an airline.
Yeah. And she mentioned calling in about changing your room. That's something else that we didn't know you could do is when you book a roomette, you don't get to pick your room.
Right.
When you book it, it'll give you a room. It'll tell you what number you're in. And we had no idea what that meant. If you're on a Viewliner, doesn't really matter. It's just a one-level train. They're just going to be all in a row, the numbers. But if you're on a Superliner, it's a 2-level train, and it's kind of important to know which level you're on because that has an impact on what you're going to do. So the lower level has 3 bathrooms and a shower. It's also got the family bedroom, the accessible bedroom, and 3 roomettes. So, but from that car, you can get off the train easily, but you do have to go upstairs to go to the observation car or to go to the dining room. If you're on the upper level, it's just all roomettes on your hallway, and there's 1 bathroom. And then you have easier access to the dining car and the observation car.
Yeah, and then the bedrooms are up
And
the
the
hall
bedrooms.
too.
But then you also have better views from the upper level. So if you have a preference on which one you want, the lower number rooms starting at 1
So 1 through 10
are going to be upper level. And then when you get into like 12, 13, those are on the lower level. So you can call in and change that and just tell them, hey, I want to be If you have like room 12, you can say, hey, I want to be on the upper level. Or if you have room 2, you can call in and say, I want to be on the lower level. They can generally do that for you.
Yeah.
Another thing is, we didn't know that the observation car was for all passengers.
Right. We thought it was just a perk for people in the sleeper car. We did not realize that it was open to coach passengers as well. And we were on the Crescent.
Sunset Limited.
Or the Sunset Limited, yes. We were on the Sunset Limited, and we had seen a couple people go in that direction, which we were in the last car before you get to it. And we thought, well, I wonder if we could use it too. So we thought, well, let's try it out. So we grabbed our electronic bags and brought them with us, and we went over there and checked it out. And I was like, there was no one in there. For starters, there was like, 2 other people maybe in there. We got in there, and it was like, no one's using this. This is crazy. So it was really cool because not only do you have those tables where you can sit and get some work done if you want to, but you also have the seats facing out towards the windows, and you have, it's so open with the windows up above as well. It's a really nice space. And then also that is where the cafe snack car is located as well.
Yeah. Another great thing about the observation car that people don't know is that there are tons of power outlets in there, and they're generally not used. So if you have a lot of stuff to charge, you don't have one of the chargers that we recommend you bring with you, you can go there and charge a bunch of stuff up at once. Yeah. It's a good place to do it.
Yeah. If you're at the tables, the outlets are underneath the table. You'll see them on the wall up against where the windows are.
One thing we didn't know is that you can't get off at every stop. You can't just get off whenever. Some of the stops are only like 2 minutes long, and it's only getting on and off.
Yes.
Then there are quite a few fresh air breaks where you can get off, but you can't get off just whenever you want.
Yeah, I think we just thought, they're stopping, but then you'll hear them tell you, like, this stop is only for people getting off and those people getting on. So just listen for those. And if you have questions, the Amtrak staff is always walking around in the cars. Just stop one of them and ask them, hey, I want to know when the next fresh air break is, and they'll tell you when we get to such and such station, and then you'll know, okay, when we get there, then I know I can get off and walk around. Always also stay close to the platform. They will tell you that. It doesn't matter how long they give you. Just make sure you're paying attention because they will leave you behind. They will not stay. We have seen people get left behind. It's pretty sad, and it's a real bummer to your trip if you get left behind, but you have got to pay attention when they say, the all aboard. You do not want to be making a purchase in a shop and then realize, oh no, the train just left without me because I was buying Doritos. Or whatever, I don't know. I didn't buy Doritos, but anyways, just make sure that you stay close by on those fresh air breaks. But like you said, you cannot get off at every stop. So if that's going to be a problem, just know you're not going to be able to do it because they don't even open the doors. They only open certain doors depending on how many people have to get off.
Access to Metropolitan Lounges is included with your sleeper car ticket. And we didn't know this. We didn't even know what a Metropolitan Lounge was. Yeah. We didn't know what stations had them. Our station did not have one. We're in the Atlanta station. Actually, they do technically
have one. I wouldn't really call it a Metropolitan Lounge. It's just a those little rat maze things that they put up, the little poles to make a line, in different places like the airport or whatever. That's what they use to divide the regular station from the Metropolitan Lounge in Atlanta. It's basically just different seats that you're sitting in, but you're literally just sitting in the same room.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a Metropolitan Lounge.
But our second Metropolitan Lounge was New Orleans. Still not a good one.
Also still not.
But if you're going to Chicago or New York or LA
or Boston, there's quite a few.
Portland, those are Metropolitan Lounges worth visiting.
Yes.
So definitely do that. Even St. Louis was okay. Yeah, that was kind of nice.
Yeah, that was actually.
you do not need to get to the Amtrak station 2 hours early like a flight. So we didn't know that.
No.
A lot of people ask, what kind of security do you have to go through? How early do you need to get there? Zero. You don't need to go through anything.
Above. Yeah, we got there so early that they still had the door locked to the station, and the guy was like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
We were like, "Oh, we're here for the train." He's like, "Well, okay, come on in." Like, he let us in and stuff, but they had the door locked still. We were there by ourselves for at least an hour and a half before anybody else showed up to the station. So 2 hours is definitely way too early to get there.
Yeah.
And you are not going through security. The only thing you need to do is just, if you're checking your bag, to actually just hand it over to them. They tag it and get it ready to load onto the train.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
You do need to be there a little early for that. You can't just show up 10 minutes before.
Yeah, and throw your bag at them. Yeah.
But 45 minutes is fine. So another thing that we didn't know is that Amtrak trains can get canceled for a variety of reasons. And actually, our very first ride got canceled. It was this ride from Atlanta to New Orleans. We were supposed to go on July the 5th, I think. And on July the 4th, we got a notice that our train was canceled for tomorrow. We were like, oh, great. So we ended up staying another night in Atlanta. We were in a hotel, and they just put us on the next day's train, which was on the 6th. What had happened was a train had derailed that night and blocked the tracks, and they just knew they weren't going to get to a freight train. A freight train had derailed and was blocking the tracks.
Yeah.
And so little things like that can happen, and they're really at no control of Amtrak. There's a lot of other things that can happen. For instance, as we're taping this now, this last week, there was a rail strike that didn't happen. But in preparation for that, they canceled some things. There can be fires that take out bridges. There can be flooding. So with that said, know that it can get canceled if you book your trip with a bunch of flexibility built in. That's why we always stay the night at the end of each trip, because if you book in an extra day, you always have that flexibility to readjust your schedule. With a couple extra days in there, you can do that. If you're just going boom, 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 and one little thing messes it up, it can mess up your entire
whole thing goes
trip.
flat.
Yeah. So don't do that, because definitely things can get canceled.
Yeah.
And they won't be canceled long. They'll get you on the next day usually, but just know that it can.
Right. Yeah, for sure. The next one is on the trains, that there are different types of bathrooms available. And actually, someone just asked me about where the bathrooms are recently, so we'll start with that. And each train car has at least one bathroom in it. So if you're in a superliner, generally the bathrooms are always going to be downstairs. There's never bathrooms upstairs in a superliner in coach. In the sleeper cars in a superliner, you'll find one bathroom upstairs, and then the bedrooms each have their own. And then downstairs you'll find 3 public use bathrooms. Now on a view liner, which you mentioned earlier are the ones that generally go to New York, the view liners, you'll have some of the cars, depending on if they've been updated or not, you'll have a commode in your room, but there's also bathrooms at the end of the hall, and then there's also, and that's just for public use. And then the bedrooms, of course, have their own. And then the coach car, again, each coach car is going to have its own bathroom, but there are different types of bathrooms available. So if you're looking for an accessible bathroom, you'll have to look around and see which car has the accessible bathroom, because there's not one in each car.
And also, like on a superliner, the superliner 2 bathrooms in the sleeper cars not as big as the superliner 1s. So if you want that bigger bathroom and you're in the superliner 2, you're walking through to the dining car, you gotta go through the other one, you may be able to check that out. So just look around. The rule of thumb with Amtrak is nothing is really ever the same. Everything is a case-by-case basis, because there are so many eclectic cars. Like, you could have a car that's a transition car, which has a bathroom and a shower all together. Now that's a really big bathroom. There's all kinds of weird things like where you're like, oh, I've never seen that before. So the rule of thumb is when you get on the train, do a little walk around, see where all the bathrooms are. Just don't just assume that every bathroom is going to be the same as the one that's closest to you, and that may not be the best one for you to use.
Right.
You may find something better.
Yeah, and you don't have to use. You're not limited to only using the bathroom that's in your car. You can use the bathrooms in the other cars.
And there is a bathroom,
especially in coach.
There is a bathroom at the bottom of the observation car. Sometimes they have that blocked off for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. They used to not have it blocked off. Maybe ask someone why that one is blocked off.
We should ask somebody.
But in times past, that has been like the secret bathroom because no one knows.
Yeah,
it's down
especially
there.
for when we've been in coach, that's been like our secret bathroom because
it's always clean.
It was always clean because no one knew about it because it was like in the back corner of the cafe. So yeah, not a lot of people use that one.
Yeah. Another thing that I wish we knew is that some stations will have food when you get off, and they'll generally tell you if there's going to be like food. Like definitely Albuquerque, there's people that sell food right on the tracks.
Yeah, right there on the platform. You'll walk right across the tracks, and they'll be sitting right there. Selling foods or other items.
There's a hot dog person in Orlando that sells food. You get hot food right off the train.
In his little cart, he comes and stands literally right off the train. So people come running off the train and get in line right away and grab some food. And then the other one is, of course, the famous burrito lady.
Yeah.
Where is that? Albuquerque. No. The burrito lady. It's in Texas. There are places, and they will tell you, the conductor, you'll hear them come over and say, hey, we're getting to, such and such station. Hop off, get your burrito or get your hot dog or whatever.
Yep.
So hopefully these tips will help you guys out, learn from the mistakes we made a long time ago when we first started riding Amtrak, and just some lessons we've learned and some things that really make your trip a lot better, a lot more comfortable, and a lot more enjoyable. So hopefully it helps you guys out. Leave us a comment, let us know what surprised you from what we shared here in the video today. And if you have any other questions, make sure to leave those questions in the comments section, because we do answer those. We do get in there and answer the comments, your questions in the comments section. It's the best place because that way everybody can learn from the question that you have as well, because probably somebody else has the same question too. So don't forget to do that. Subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and we'll see you guys next time.